It's no secret that some of our favorite characters from comic books and movies are the bad guys. We can't help it. Even if they start off as plain evil, some are just blessed with so much charisma and charm that they almost make us root for them instead of the actual heroes. There is no better example of this than one Harley Quinn. While she might have started as a simple henchwoman of the Joker, she quickly took on a life of her own, and the rest is history. If you don't know where Harley came from, then buckle up because you're in for a fantabulous ride. If you're not already well versed in the Harley Quinn backstory, you might have imagined that she originated like most of her friends and enemies, in the comic books. But well, Harley has never been just like anyone else, and she made her entrance into the world in an entirely different way. She actually appeared for the first time on TV, in the cartoon classic Batman the Animated Series in 1992. She arrived on the scene as a loyal and completely obsessed assistant of the Joker, and quickly became a regular on the series. The inspiration for Harley all began when a writer for the cartoon, Paul Dini, was watching his old friend from college, Arlene Sorkin, act on Days of Our Lives. As Dini was brainstorming about how to fill out a lineup of henchmen to surround the Joker with, he decided to make one of them a woman. And then, in a truly bananas fantasy sequence on the long-running soap opera, Arlene appeared in a classic two-toned clown outfit, and Dini was immediately inspired to create the character of Harley Quinn, who would dress like a harlequin, one of the stock comedic characters from the old Italian theater style of commedia dell'arte. And then, since Arlene actually inspired the character herself, she was brought in to lend her voice to Harley. Even though she was only meant to be a one-off character, Harley quickly became a favorite of the creators and fans alike, and not only would she appear in a ton of Batman episodes over the next 7 years, she would eventually make her way onto the pages of the comics as well. Harley offered something completely different than any other character ever had in the Batman world, or possibly in all of cartoon and comic history that came before her. Through her relationship with the Joker, this children's cartoon series actually started dealing with the pretty heavy subject matter of domestic violence and cycles of abuse in dysfunctional relationships. Harley and Joker repeat a similar cycle over and over again throughout the series, in which Harley is devoted to Joker, who in turn treats her terribly. She then leaves, or is kicked out, and either goes her own way or winds up closely partnered with Poison Ivy. One quick aside here. Paul Dini has made it pretty clear over the years that Poison Ivy and Harley's relationship is more than friendly, though it wasn't explicitly explored by DC until 2017, when they finally shared a kiss in Harley Quinn number 25. Anyway, back to the story. After some time away from one another, Joker always realizes that he doesn't want to live without Harley, and they wind up reuniting in one, usually violent, way or another. And then the whole thing starts up again. It's an eerily familiar cycle, and one that is totally unexpected from a pair of cartoon characters to explore in this format. But it's because Harley is unlike any other character that she allowed the writers to go to such different places with her storylines, and why audiences connected with her so strongly. She definitely wasn't like any other female character they had seen before, and her fanbase quickly grew. Piles and piles of fan letters started pouring in, and to this day, Harley is widely recognized as the breakout star of the entire Batman the Animated Series, leading to spin-offs that aired all the way until 2006. But things really changed back in 1994, when DC realized that they had a giant hit on their hands. They decided to create a single-issue comic story that would give everyone the Harley Quinn backstory that they had been desperate for. And so, Mad Love hit the shelves, and fans finally got to see just how Harley became Harley. It had been touched on before that she had been Joker's psychiatrist, and in Mad Love, the story of Harleen Quinzel was fully realized. Her relationship with the Joker all started when she was a student looking to make a career for herself in the field of mental health, so she decided to write a book all about the Joker. During their sessions together, she fell head over heels in love with him and made the decision to become his partner. In 2001, Harley got her first monthly comic series called, well, Harley Quinn, and the following year, she became one of the most important characters on the television cartoon Birds of Prey series, an adaptation from another popular comic series. Harley was everywhere, and it seemed as though things could only go up from there. And yet, by the mid-2000s, things took a bit of a turn for the worse. Her comic series didn't sell very well, and most of her fans blame the fact that the storylines were never as complex and fleshed out as they could have been. In 2003, it was taken out of production. Her other comic appearances dwindled as well, and never had the same spark that she had shown on the Batman series. People couldn't quite figure out exactly what went wrong, but comics historian Chris Sims had a pretty good idea. He said that moving Harley into the mainstream in 1999 changed everything because now she was in love with the Joker from the comics, not from the animated series. Comic Joker is a way more terrible person, a sadistic maniac who has ended a million lives and takes pleasure from it. Sims believed that we could no longer sympathize with Harley for being in love with that type of person. But even then, taking Harley away from the Joker doesn't make sense either, as that is her defining relationship. It has shaped who she is. Finally, in 2009, Harley made a comeback in a big way. This time, in a video game. The smash hit game Batman Arkham Asylum was released that year, and it was a darker, grittier, and way more violent iteration of Gotham than we had seen in a long time. And yet, it was heavily inspired by Batman the Animated Series, and was again written by Paul Dini. Unsurprisingly, he made Harley a major character, and almost the only female, in the entire game, once again voiced by Arlene Sorkin. But this version of Harley was totally new. Gone was her Harlequin suit with its ruffles and jester cap. Now, Harley was outfitted in a barely there corset, some thigh-high boots, and a few pieces of her white doctor robes. In place of her cap were her now iconic blonde pigtails. It was a full reimagining of the character, and caused a bit of controversy among her longtime fans. While it was never really settled as to whether or not the new look was the right direction to go in, Paul Dini has long defended it, saying that he wanted to make it clear from first glimpse that she was totally out of her mind. The game did exactly what it set out to do, and revamped the world of Batman into a far grimier, darker direction. It, and the sequel that followed, are two of the most beloved and best-selling games ever, and they breathed new life into these iconic characters. It wasn't all smooth sailing after that, however, as in 2011, DC decided to revamp all of their comics and reboot the entire universe. Along with this, Harley became one of the major players in Suicide Squad and got yet another makeover. Her corset from Arkham Asylum got even smaller somehow, and it's safe to say that her belt was just about as wide as her shorts themselves. Fans were once again taken aback by this new take on the character, but her outfit wasn't the only thing that changed. In Suicide Squad, Harley is still devoted to the Joker despite the fact that she thought he had finally been defeated. She leaned way more into her psychopathic tendencies and seemed almost like a completely different person. Unfortunately, the series didn't do very well and only lasted 30 issues before getting cancelled altogether. While it might not have been the most successful comic series out there, Suicide Squad caught the eye of the minds behind the DC cinematic universe, and in 2016, we saw Harley Quinn appear on the big screen for the very first time. The movie was not well received by critics or fans alike, but there was one thing everyone could agree upon. Harley Quinn was an absolute standout. Played to perfection by Margot Robbie, the character burst off of the screen and is easily one of the most enjoyable parts of the entire viewing experience. And in the movie, her devotion to the Joker is as heartbreaking as it can be, especially when she takes a page from the 2011 comic series and leaps into a vat of acid to prove her devotion to him. In that, she transforms into the now iconic image of Harley Quinn that comes to mind these days. Blonde pigtails that are dyed red and blue from the runoff of their clothes mixed with the acid, a baseball tee that reads Daddy's Little Monster with an embellished bomber jacket on top, and of course, her trusty bat. The movie also introduced fans to how complex Harley's character could be. While her devotion to the Joker might seem all-consuming, she is actually caught between wreaking havoc and trying to do some good in the world. She is at war with her feelings for the Joker, endlessly caught up in the destructive dance that the two of them have been doing for so many years. While no one imagined that Harley would even last beyond her first appearance, she has not only lasted, but gone on to become one of the most beloved DC characters of all time. She is complicated, confusing, hilarious, violent, and totally cool. And even after everything she's been through, she is still 100% Harley Quinn. With her brand new standalone movie, The Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn, giving her the platform to do what she does best, and a now confirmed appearance in the upcoming James Gunn-penned Suicide Squad reboot, we are going to be seeing a lot of Harley Quinn in the coming days. And we are definitely not mad about that. Harley has always been and will always be one of our favorite characters of all time. What about you? Do you love Harley as much as she loves the Joker? Or are there other characters you think deserve the spotlight more? What's your favorite thing about her? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to keep up with all of our latest videos.